In this video, I'm going to talk about how to create and maintain personal peace. This is the third video in the series. In the first video, we talked about the body or the physical realm, what we can do physically to create and maintain personal peace. In the second video, we talked about the mind and what we can do to create and maintain personal peace in the mind. And if you watch that video, you know I said that the mind and the spirit overlap more so in a way than the body and the mind. But all three entities, the body, mind and spirit, are all interconnected, and you can't do something in one of those realms without it affecting the other realms. So when we come to the spirit, I'm going to be talking about some spiritual practices that you can do that will create and maintain your personal peace. And just to say, you may or may not be religious, you may hate religion, you may love religion, you may have a faith, you may have no faith. That doesn't really matter. We come in what I'm talking about. We come in to just talk about spirituality, which people of all faiths and none can engage with. So for me, the idea of the human spirit or the human soul, it would be to describe the essence of who we are as humans, and that's the essence that lives on after the physical body dies. This is my belief anyway. It's like the real us, and I think we can do some spiritual practices to really connect and get in touch with our own spirit. I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about spiritual practices that anyone of any religion or no religion can do, anyone of any faith or no faith can do. So one of the best things I've found over the last 8 or 9 years I've been involved in this is silent meditation, silent prayer, you could call it. Now, you may find peace putting on a certain piece of music and just being still, and that's fine if that helps you. That sounds like you've got something already worked out for your spiritual well-being, spiritual peace. Let's carry on with that. That's not a problem. But what I'm going to talk about in this video is just silent prayer, or the power of silence to bring peace to the spirit. I joined a silent prayer group in the sense that once a month they had a meeting. I used to go to it about 8 years ago, and they taught me a lot of techniques of how to bring peace and finding stillness in silence, and just really bringing a level of personal peace and maintaining personal peace that I'd never had before, even though for the last 30 odd years I've been a church minister and travelled to all sorts of countries teaching about spirituality. This was an area I'd sort of neglected, and I found a great deal of power. And also it was in a sort of denomination that I wasn't part of, wasn't really familiar with. So yes, I learned a lot with them. So much so that I've also been teaching away days occasionally on these practices. And the basic practice here is silence and stillness. And there's a deep, deep, deep peace found in silence and stillness. The problem today is that most people can't, they're uncomfortable with silence, and you can see that just walking around. You see people walking with music like on speakerphone loud on their phone instead of even having earphones, or lots of people walk around with earphones with noise going in their ears. And it's just this constant noise. It's as though we've lost the ability to be silent and still. But it's like a whole kingdom, a whole land, a whole nation of stuff that I hadn't discovered. And so you may be familiar with meditation practices and things like that, and if you are, fantastic. But for those of you who are not, this, and there's all different ways, but this is the one I've used. And we begin by sort of becoming still. So it's better if you do this in a quiet place, though when you become more skilled, you can actually do it anywhere. If you really get into it, the externals don't matter that much. But when you're learning, the best way is to find a quiet place, a quiet room, or a quiet space outside, and become still. And if you're inside, I would sit in a chair, like a dining chair, rather than an armchair, but you can do it in an armchair. The danger for me, if I sit in an armchair and become very still and quiet, is I'll fall asleep. And that's okay. Just my body telling me I need to rest. That's okay. I don't feel bad about myself doing that. But if you're learning this, it's best to sit in like a dining chair, or so that your back is straight, your feet are on the floor. Nobody knows what to do with the hands, so you can have them open in your lap, or you can sort of put them together and clasp them together. Just find some way that works for you. But what you want to do is still your body. And then the next thing you need to do is to, as you close your eyes, begin to listen to your own breathing. And just become aware of when you're breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out. And just notice the rise and the fall of your chest. Just become aware of your body. And what we're doing now is we're beginning to disconnect from the outer world, and we're coming to connect with our inner world. And we begin by just becoming aware of our body. Strangely enough, I said that all these three things, body, mind and spirit, they all overlap. So when we're now in the spiritual practices, one of the first things we do is become aware of our body, become aware of our breathing. And then another thing that helps get you into this zone is doing a body audit, I think they call it. So begin with your feet. You don't need to comment mentally of anything about your feet, but just become aware of the soles of your feet. Become aware of your ankles. And we're just feeling, is there any stiffness or pain? Are they loose? There's no right or wrong answer. We're just focusing on them. Then on our shins up to our knees, and then our thighs up to our hips. Come to the spine, and when we think about the spine, you might do what I just did there. You might kind of change your posture and put your shoulders back so that your spine is more comfortable. But think of your shoulders, your arms, your hands, your fingers. Perhaps move your fingers. And we're doing all this with our eyes closed, sat up straight in a chair. Then we come up the spine to the back of the head, our neck. We might want to kind of rotate our neck a little bit, and then just be aware of our whole head and the top of our head, and we're just doing that to become aware that we're here and this is now. We're not chasing off in regrets of the past, and we're not chasing off into fears of the future. We're being still in the present. We're not thinking about anybody else. We're just thinking about our own body, our own breath. And what we're trying to do is listen to the silence, which sounds a contradiction in terms. But in the silence, that's where peace resides. And so we continue listening to our breath in and out. So as we're breathing in and breathing out, listening to our breath, being aware of our body, your mind might start to wander, and this is where we come to a focus word. Some people call it a mantra, but really all it is just a word that's repeated, and you don't say it out loud, you just kind of whisper it or say it internally. And the purpose of this is to bring the mind to the here and now. So here's the thing about the focus word. If I tell you that for the next hour you must under no circumstances think about a white polar bear, what have you just thought about? You've just thought about a white polar bear. Because I said the word white polar bear, your mind brought a white polar bear to mind. And so what the focus word does is to focus the mind on what we want it focused on. And this is why it doesn't really matter if your focus word or your mantra is anything really. For me, partly just because of my faith background, I just use the word Jesus. And this isn't, we're not searching for Jesus as we do this, but it's just a word. I associate that name with peace and healing. And so it's two syllables, isn't it? Jesus. So I'd say the G on the breath in, and the zus on the breath out. And just say that quietly to myself as I breathe in and out. And what that does is I'm focusing on that word, and I'm focusing on sort of saying that word internally. It stops my mind wandering off, and your mind will start to wander off. And when you notice your mind wandering off, you bring it back by coming back to your focus word and saying that more forcefully internally. It's a bit like when you're out in the countryside. You could be sat on a hillside or something, or by the ocean, and you can see the clouds passing by in the sky, and you can just let them pass by. You don't have to chase after them. You don't have to focus on any of those. And our thoughts are just like the clouds passing by. Those thoughts are going to they're just passing by. So we don't need to chase after them or focus on them. And the focus word brings us back to what we're doing now. So if something that's troubling you comes to mind, we acknowledge it. Yes, I see that, but we're putting that over to one side. At the moment, we're concentrating on our focus word and our breath and our body and the things that we're feeling in our breath and our body. And we just repeat that focus word. Now, you may become relaxed, or I do, where I almost stop saying the focus word and just listen to the silence. There's like a break through a door you go through, and once you get into that silence, it's very powerful. And also in that sort of realm of what you're doing, the mind can still try and invade, but you use your focus word to bring it back. So one of the most profound things I heard about this when I was going to my little monastery sessions once a month was, I think somebody said that we're not trying to create silence. It's very difficult to get absolute silence. There may be a time and a place where you felt there was absolute silence, but even I remember standing by a lake once in the late afternoon, completely deserted area, but you still get the sort of water lapping on the shore and the birds singing, so it wasn't absolutely silent, but there were calming noises. So there may be little distractions. There may be someone like mowing the grass in the distance, or a builder at work in the street drilling something that's a bit annoying. But we're not trying to create absolute silence. It's like God, or whatever you perceive to be God, the bigger presence, the creator, lives in silence. So we're not trying to create silence. God is in silence. He lives in silence. And what we're trying to do is enter into God's silence. That's how I would describe it for myself. And sometimes it's not like, I know some sort of Christians would say, are you waiting for a word from God? No, that's not what this is about. We're not trying to get some amazing prophecy that transforms our life. It's like when if you've got a really close friend. I've got a couple of friends, and I can be with them, and we'll have moments, if we go a walk or we're just with each other for a day, we'll have moments where there'll be a period of silence. And it's not that we've fallen out, it's just that we're such close friends that we can just rest in each other's presence. We don't have to try and prove ourselves, or we don't have to be something that we're not. We're not trying to impress anyone, but because the friendship is so close that we can just enjoy their presence without words. And it's like that when you're kind of coming into this silent meditation, this way of peace, this way of prayer almost. So we're just coming into the silence. We're not trying to extract some prophetic word from God. We're just being with God in the presence there. And it's like when I've been with certain friends, it's not anything they said, it's just I'm uplifted by spending time with them. And something's happened almost in a spiritual way just by hanging out with a friend for a day. And it's not something they said, it's not words, it's just their presence has uplifted me and given me new and fresh ideas. I'm sure if you want to explore silent meditation, there'll be a lot of stuff online that will take you deeper into that, but I just wanted to give you like an introduction as a way of creating and maintaining personal peace in your life. So I hope you've found these 3 videos useful, the one about the body, the one about the mind, and this one about the spirit. And if you begin to do some of these things that I've shared in these videos, you will not only create personal peace, but you'll be able to maintain personal peace. And when the storms of life come, and they will come because that's life, when the storms of life come, you can fall back on some of these things. And if you're not sleeping or you're stressy or, you can't find peace, you can examine these areas I've talked about, the body, the mind and the spirit, what we're putting into those things. And then we can put the right stuff in and get the right stuff out. If you found this video or this little 3-part series helpful, don't forget to hit the red subscribe button, hit that like button and the little bell icon, and you'll get notifications of new videos. And I'll see you in the next video, whatever that may be about, but it'll be about life, wisdom and well-being. And you can watch that video here.